If you guys have not seen the latest East vs. West podcast, make sure to go check that out. It had Hermes Gasparini and LEVAN Saginashvili on it. They talked about a lot of very interesting things, including upcoming matches. But one of the things that I found to be especially interesting is LEVAN gave his take on exactly what happened in the round 1 of his match versus Devin Larratt. So basically, someone commented and asked if LEVAN thought he could still win if he did not use a flop press in that first round. So let's take a listen to LEVAN's response, and then we'll talk about it afterward.
Yeah, probably. I think I could have won without the press. It would have taken much longer. Maybe something like it went on the left hand with Devin. Before the match, some said that I couldn't press, that was my weakness. Now I showed that I can press, and now this complaint, so I don't know what to do.
So to be totally fair to LEVAN, that kind of is what happens. Everyone was complaining after seeing the Hermes match that LEVAN only had one move and he just hits the panic button as soon as everything doesn't go perfectly for him. But now that he has showed that he isn't super one-dimensional, he does have backup moves, it seems like people have a problem with that as well. Now, I don't think that they actually have a problem with LEVAN. I think that they just wanted Devin to win, so it's saddening to them that LEVAN had these backup moves. But I also understand from LEVAN's perspective, he probably feels like he can't win. And maybe when you're going up against Devin Larratt, you can't. But anyway, LEVAN goes on to say that he thinks this match probably would have looked like their left-handed match that they had a little while back at the Vitaly Biologics thing. So basically, if LEVAN had just sat there and tried to grit his teeth and bend his wrist, and he never decided to make that tactical move to switch to a flop press because he knew that his wrist was about to go, it may have looked a lot different. But what LEVAN is saying is that he doesn't think he would have lost because the arm power gap was just so large, he could have continued to climb and to rise through his thumb. Even if he didn't have any kind of control through the wrist, he probably would have done somewhat of a Todd roll kind of thing, the same way that he did in rounds 2 through 4. He does say that it probably would have taken quite a bit longer, but he still thinks that he would have won this round. And after seeing rounds 2 through 4 in this match, I think that LEVAN is probably right here. I think that even if he battled out as long as he possibly could have in terms of his wrist flexion and it eventually got totally blown out, he probably still would have won that round 1 because Devin's bicep would have been so blown out at that point too, and now LEVAN has all of his side pressure that is a lot more fresh that he can use to directly attack Devin's bicep. And I don't really think Devin would have been able to prevent the pin at that point. And I do think that this is super cool. I've talked a little bit before how to me, LEVAN is almost like a giant version of John Brzenk, both in his proportions and his pulling style. It was looking like for a while that maybe LEVAN didn't really have any kind of backup moves and that if everything didn't go perfectly for him, he would start to panic. But now that we've seen him in this Devin match, we know that he has multiple backup moves, and even if his wrist goes, he still has a really solid connection to his side pressure and to his back pressure, so it looks like his wrist going doesn't even really affect him all that much. So I do think that LEVAN probably would have still won round 1 even if he never flop pressed, but let me know what you guys think about this because it is an interesting topic.